people are able to relate to certain people because of their mentality. And I might not be able to reach a person a certain way because of certain things I say, but this person or this person may be able to touch that person with Wu-nuwaup, and they actually their own genetic explosion go off. If we was to say, while we keep toiling, we're here for our people. We're here to save the planet. We're the real superheroes. You know what I'm saying? And for us to say, to give up on our people like that, then we're just as bad as the white man. You know what I'm saying? To give up on your people. Because, like, how can you get the information and been the privilege of being awoken and then turn around and say, I'm not going to save the people because I'm wasting my time? When the master teacher himself spent almost 50 years trying to raise us, and we still kept asking these religious questions. This is why in the updates, on Tuesday when MC Tech was giving the updates, he was saying that, you know, he came giving us what we want, so we can what we had to give. When he tried to give us Wu-nuwaup, we wouldn't accept it. It was too advanced. It was like you couldn't grasp it. But he had to package it in a religious package so you can understand it to a certain point. People say, oh, he talk about Anu, he talk about this, he talk about that, because that's what you wanted. You wanted Anu. You wanted Jesus. You wanted Muhammad. You wanted Moses. You wanted that stuff. You wanted to be the black Moses, the black Muhammad, the black this, the black that. You didn't want the master teacher to give you a white version of Moses. You wanted a racist doctrine. You hear me? You wanted a black doctrine so you can feel better about yourself. Because it was hard to break the spell when you have an inferiority complex. So he had to package Wu-nuwaup so he can bring you up. So you can want what he has to give, which is sound, right reasoning, right knowledge, right wisdom, and a right understanding that leads to sound, right reasoning. Once you're in the sound, right reasoning realm, it doesn't deal with research. It deals with mouth to ear information. It sounds right and you reason it out because it deals with your genetics. People say, well, Bach, what can I do research on this new positive act? You can't. Because this is our doctrine. This is the hereafter doctrine. This is a master sitting down with his disciple and giving him mouth to ear information. You're not gonna who you gonna confirm it with? You can't get it with the white man. He's a liar. Because you don't go to him and ask him where you get your information from. It's not going to work that way. This is mouth to ear. The further we go back, the less brightness we're going to deal with. Listen, the further you keep going back in history, dealing with records, right? You're going to get to the point, you're going to go past the records.
Always past.
You're going to go past the records. Man was existing on planet Earth for a long time before they started writing stuff down. So how do you get these stories? Mouth to ear. Mouth to ear. You know what I'm saying? The further we keep going back past the Sumerian doctrine, we're going back to mouth to ear. You don't have to accept this. The master teacher put enough works out on the table so you can trust his doctrine. He gave you what you want. He dismantled every religion and showed that this stuff came from here to here and where this came from. He tied it all in. He got enough work. 600 books is more than enough. 300 audio cassette tapes and DVDs is more than enough. You hear me? 8 hours of personal classes with the master teacher is more than enough. What more do he need to give you in order for you to trust his teachings? To trust his words. Because these cats want to say the doctrines are plagiarized. To go to Zachariah Stitch or go to these other scholars and ask them where they're getting their teaching from. Okay, they translate off the wall. You need to translate it yourself and read it for yourself like the master teacher. He always did one thing. He said, don't believe me, check it out. Learn Arabic. Learn Hebrew. Learn Greek. Learn Wu-nuwaupu. That way you can read and translate for yourself. He didn't say, look, I got my own translation of the Quran. Torah. He said, well, you can read it for yourself. He always taught us, no matter what school we was in, our master always taught us to learn the language of every school we were in. So that way nobody can say, well, you read Dr. York version. Well, I know how to read the Arabic, stupid. Then they got an issue with that.
Yeah.
Is that the real Arabic? My Arabic is way better than your Arabic. You speak in Persian Arabic. You hear me? This is the game we got to play with these so-called coons.
But elaborate on just on that word, author, authentic.
Listen, the master teacher, if you look at any of his old books, it always say authored by. Pop wrote books too, don't get me wrong. But Pop also authorized a lot of writings. The master teacher will sit here, you gotta understand this. What are we speaking right now?
English.
Why are we speaking English?
That's the language we brought up.
That's what we was enslaved to speak.
Is English the language that God spoke
No.
6,000 years ago according to the scriptures?
No, it is not.
Is English is the Babylonians'
No, it
language
is not.
No.
15, 20,000 years ago?
No, it is
Is
not.
English the language of the Natharu 59,000 years ago?
No, it is not.
So here's the question. If you are a scientist and you study science, right?
Right.
And you came up with a scientific discovery in your language, in your culture, and you decide to write it down in your culture, how powerful is that science?
Very powerful.
Very, very
Now,
powerful.
if you translate that science into another culture, would it lose something?
Yeah, it lose all the original meanings.
Exactly. Even though the science is mathematical, right? You hear me?
Yeah.
But the meaning of it won't be the same
Right.
as the application.
Exactly.
So what happened is, we've been reading right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding that leads to sound right reason and got throwing English. So we don't even have the hiccup or the power of it. Meaning that if we were to study our original language, where our original science come from, imagine how powerful it would be. You feel me? Because you have a better understanding of certain words and certain applications in that language as opposed to English. What a lot of people don't understand about our master, that he is such a master that he had to format Wu-nuwaupu in the English language so you can comprehend just this little bit of stuff that he give you in 600 books. Let's open up the book. Let's look at the first page. Genetic kiss. We know the word genetic means what? Genes, genealogy, family. That's what it really means, right? Kiss, to touch the one, to make a form of adoration, right? That's not Wu-nuwaup. That is a Caucasian word that we had to go to them to get the definition so we can understand the meaning of this word. You hear me?
Yeah.
So we're still tracked by them as long as we're kicking knowledge in their language. So the master teacher had to format Wu-nuwaupu using Islam, Christianity, and Judaism and format it in the English language. So when he talked about certain things, he had to use an English word to explain or to express what he's trying to convey to you. Because you don't speak the language. If I say nukta in Arabic, people say, what is a nukta? Well, the best way I can explain it is this right here. That's the best way I can do it. Oh, I understand that, but it's not what it means.
Yeah. Like just like the word Allah. It doesn't mean God.
Yeah, but that's the
You
whole
can't
thing.
translate-
Exactly. But that's the whole thing. Wu-nuwaup is being formatted for English-speaking people.
So we're not even really.
Getting the full,
Potential of it.
the full Monty. Look at the word Monty. Yeah?
Right,
the full grasp or the full benefits of it.
Benefits.
It's like you're not getting the limitless, like the 100% mind power of this
exactly,
right here.
exactly.
Because you're just using it in English. People say, I want to levitate. How would you do that in English? I want to be able to read how would you do that in English if you don't understand the science on how to unlock the codes? Dealing with the 24th chromosome, which is called the heart gene.
Yeah.
Because the heart gene is the chromosome
Right.
they put inside, or they call it Wu-nuwaup, right? In the 23rd chromosome, in order for you to still retain your Natharu characteristics, but you can't access that because you're still speaking English.
Yeah.
You hear me? So these books have been formatted in an English setting where you can be able to relay the information to break a certain spell, right? This is what Pop said, you still under spell. Like, I broke the spell of religion. Yeah, but you didn't speak this. You didn't break the spell of tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
As long as you're on their tone, they still got
They
you.
still got you.
You know what I'm saying? That's why Pop keeps expressing
Learn.
Nuwaupu, because it's our tone.
No,
But what about Hebrew? It's not my tone.
Yeah.
What about Greek? It's not my tone. What about Arabic? It's not my tone.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So now, when Dr. York, or our master teacher, Partner Bab Yanun, dictates and you ask him a question, right? The question, if you watch the classes online or in the DVDs, right? On YouTube and so, right? He's asking random questions of how you feel emotionally. What about the Most High? Yahweh. So now he got to answer a question, go to religious doctrine, deal with Yahweh. What about the Prophet Muhammad? Now he got to answer the question dealing with that. And sometimes he'll try to direct the science, but just so concentrate on the religious aspect that you forget that the spiritual science that he's breaking down.
Yeah.
He's been talking about it years ago, even in Amsterdam. If nature mankind was energy. I mean, you know, different classes, even when he was Imam Isa, he was breaking down sciences back to inner being and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we were so caught up in the superficial religious belief doctrine of religion, but we didn't want to hear the scientific part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even when they had a book out from A Law of Man, that book is not a religious book. If anybody have read that book back in the Ansar day, A Law of Man is a quantum physics book written in an Islamic doctrine that he was putting out back then. Because back then, we were getting stuff about ether, all this. Paul was talking about ether back then. About the 7 planes of existence and quantum physics and time and all that stuff, right? But we didn't grasp that. We wouldn't say, well, did Muhammad pray like that?
Yeah.
You know, we want to hear about how he dickered and how he did that, but we don't want to ask, we don't want to deal with the part of what comes after the dicker, or how he was able to vibrate to a certain frequency and ascend to another heaven or dimension. Paul was trying to say these were dimensions, not heavens, but you want to hear the word heaven.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the 7 dimensions, but we said 7 heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we didn't want to hear that. We wanted the mystical stuff. What type of prayer was it? Was it orange? Did they have frankincense and myrrh inside it? Because smell it? You hear me?
Yeah,
Spooky.
Can I rub my forehead on it and make a prostration mark on my forehead? You hear me? You hear me?
No, that's how it is, though.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. I hear you. So when Doc was dictating to the sisters, put it, now take that and create a book format around that. Sisters, that's what we had a book department for.
Yeah.
Pop give them certain words, certain stuff, he break down classes. They take that and they format a book thing. If he would have kept it in the format, you would like, I don't understand that. So this is why you look at the old books, he give you quotes, geographical areas, maps. Anytime Pop talk about a certain subject, he goes into that subject, and the sisters will put down the information that they do from researching that comes out of other people's books, because those information is public domain.
Yeah.
Nobody creates knowledge.
Yeah.
You can't patent knowledge. You can't copyright knowledge.
That's why so many people can write books about it.
Exactly. Because you didn't create it. You research like everybody else. So the sisters will format it, use reference, and break down everything in an English format, because we still speaking English. You feel me?
Right.
And then these people say, well, and then Pop said, don't believe me, check it out. And he give you the author's name. How you going to plagiarize somebody and you give them the information where you get it from? You hear me?
Right.
So you're still dealing with an English format. Now that we're into Wu-nuwaup, if you look at the Pt.2 and the actual facts, you see almost half and half in the Wu-nuwaup in English. When he takes to break down the word, you see the Wu-nuwaup break the people say, I don't understand it. Well, don't worry about the Wu-nuwaup. Just read the English for the time being, but you'll understand what that word means in the Wu-nuwaup. You hear me? Because it's going in your mind. It's still in your subconscious mind. And you start building up your vocabulary unconsciously.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or no, subconsciously. You feel me? So that's why you look at the actual facts. I mean, the Pt.2, every time you break down a word or something, he got the Wu-nuwaup with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the master teacher is going to eventually start putting those books in the Wu-nuwaup. And you be sitting there like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And you be like, well, we understand it and we know what it means. Well, how are you able to do that? Oh, can we read this? But I read it too, but it's in the Wu-nuwaup. I read the English version of that. Well, you're not going to get the full benefits if you're not reading the Wu-nuwaup.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to read the Wu-nuwaup. Well, we do have classes. We can learn the language. You hear me?
Yeah.
I don't have time to learn the language. And you just don't want that. You just don't need the information.
You don't want it.
So Lucky Chuck and Slick Rick and all them, Rick know the language. That's why Rick coming at the way he come, because he don't want to admit the truths, because he knows that as long as he stays in the English format, he can try to attack it.
Right.
But he can't attack the language.
No.
So they'll say, that's not real Wu-nuwaup. You don't know, because how you know?
Yeah.
What was the name for Egypt? What was the name of the language before they called it Egyptian? It could have been Meta-Neter. How do you say the word language in the ancient Egyptian tongue? How do you say this in the language? You know what I'm saying, though?
I'm with you on
You hear me? So that you got Russian, you got cuneiform, you got Akkadian, you know. Well, now you got to ask the Caucasian. What was the name called before it was called Egypt? Oh, that was Kemet. We said Kemet. Kamit.
Coming.
They say Kemet because they can't pronounce Kemet. The reason why the reason why we have a hard time pronouncing Kamit is because we are lazy on tongue because we speak fluent English.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: where did they get the? We know that the word ham and cam, right? That's Semitic.
But the Semitic came from the ancient Egyptian.
The ancient.
It was there first. That's why people always saying, "Oh, Pop took it from these languages." No, it came from those languages. Got it from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because Islam ain't that old. Christianity and Judaism ain't that old, but Egypt older than that. So how do you say that came from there when you do the research on these cultures or these religions, they found their way out of Egypt. You feel me?
Right.
So the thing is that you're dealing with a different type of Caucasian as opposed to 400 something years ago. Because these Caucasians came from the mountains.
That's right.
Out of Denmark and Sweden and Turkey and all that, right? So they couldn't pronounce certain tones because they didn't have certain alphabets in the English alphabet.
Right.
There was back in the early hundreds, centuries, there was only 13 alphabets in the English language, and everybody know this for a fact. That they have all 24. So when they try to pronounce certain tones and try to translate from Egyptian or Greek and Hebrew and Arabic into English, you couldn't even pronounce certain words because they didn't have a vowel for it.
Yeah.
Or alphabet for it, so you pronounce the best way. And if you look at the Caucasian back then, he didn't speak the way he speaks now, because he's been around us long enough to speak a certain way.
Yeah.
But back then, the Caucasian, you could barely understand them. Because this guy they used to grunt when they used to talk. Look at this in the house. Instead of saying, my lad. Yeah, so imagine them talking like, they can't pronounce it. I'm the tap. So they say, they can say that because it's more comfortable for their throat to say it. But they'll have a hard time trying to pronounce a certain tone. They won't say, Hathar. You mean Heather? No, it's Hathar. Heather. Why do you keep saying Heather? Hathar. I can't do that. Heather. It's not their DNA. This is why it's so important for the Whopping. And once we get in that language, we get the full benefits of the science.
Right.
Any other question? You had a question? You found it? Yeah, go ahead.
It's page 32.
What verse? What number is that we're looking at?
Page 32, verse 396.
Okay, let me see.
It starts there and it ends at, I think, 401.
Okay, let's read it. Let's read it. So because a Negro, we saw that verse 393 in the book called The Genetic Case on page 932. So because a Negro, a Mongoloid, or a Caucasoid female mixes liquid with another race, she rules as Tefnut. So if a Caucasian female is with a Negroid male, because his genes are much stronger than hers, she becomes him. Because you got to remember the Caucasian female vibrates on 6 ether, which is actually higher than 5 ether, with the Caucasian male vibrates on it. You know what I'm saying? He can't ascend up because he's way below. At least with the 6 ether, you can get a boost. You understand that? Mm-hmm. So the God male who mixes in with a 6 ether Caucasian woman will lose his ether or his soul to power her up. Now she can make it to the other side dimension. But that black person will forfeit that, sacrifice herself, so she can make it to the other side genetically by mixing in with her. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is one of the updates that the master teacher taught us a couple of years ago when Marcel Ted Bastet Salt Antoine was given to us. You know what I'm saying? When we was on the Compton Highway. Yet, if a Negroid female is with a Caucasoid male because his genes are diseased with a curse of leprosy and he is weak and wicked by nature, she give up her soul and will transform into his queen, a black devil. Now watch this. A master teacher said years ago, as Muslims, you remember that shit, right? That women are makes up what percent of your deen? Yeah. Y'all remember that? He said woman makes up 50% of your deen. You remember that back in the days?
Right, I remember that.
He said that means you're responsible for her. She gets you know what I'm saying? So what happened is in a couple classes they said, do black women have a soul? They said no. Her soul's on the side of her, while ours are above us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what happened is when she mixed in with a man, She gets the soul from her man because she reaches her soul from her father. But when she breaks off from them, she had to get her soul from her husband.
That's right, I remember.
You hear me? We give them their soul. You hear me? So what happened is the black woman will be soulless just like the Caucasian, but with darker skin. But by being with us, she gets her soul. This being is already genetically weak and vibrates on 5 ether. You hear me? Then you get the curse of leprosy that's inside the genes that brings down the vibration. You hear me? Then the black woman mixes her gene in with her, then she loses that which she has, right? Her soul to him and becomes even weaker, and then she becomes just like him, like Black Devil, because she takes his DNA. And that's what that is about. And this is why we always put emphasis on do not mix your seed in with them. But the Caucasian had created the movies, the cinemas, the TV shows, and made the white woman look good, and she's beautiful. And you got the own black man say, "Oh, I hit Angelina Jolie. I hit that. I hit what's that? Scarlett Johansson. That chick look fine." Because I'm looking at her, you're so under spell. You don't even realize that these chicks are ugly and hideous. But you got so caught on looking at people like Glenn Close and what's the other chick? Julianne Moore. These real ugly, nasty look, and Jennifer Aniston and Jessica Sarah Parker and them, right? That when they brought the other white girls in, oh, she looked good because this one looked hideous. But these are the bigger. If you notice that the biggest Hollywood stars are the most ugliest ones. You know what I'm saying? But then when they got the other ones, then I'll mix with him. I don't like the way Bruce Willis look. I'll mess with Ryan Penelope and all that. You feel what I'm saying? And who's the other guy? Henry Cavill and all these other guys, right? But we got people like these other Caucasians, these ugly white women, and ugly white men, and then you got the lower West, the A and C-list actors that look more better than them. You say, oh, they must look good too, but they both look hideous. One is just more monstrosity than the other one, because it's outside of our culture. We know what we like, but then we start liking what they like, and this is what happens. And this is how the Caucasians able to reel you in, to find you, get you to be attracted to them. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So a woman's like, I want to get with a white guy. I think Brad Pitt is sexy.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You got that? Yeah.
In addition with that, let's say if like a Ethiopian woman, because most of them are, well, majority of them that I've seen are just as black as we are, have the same skin tone, but not the same hair texture. So.
You talk about Ethiopian women?
Yeah, mixing in with other races.
Okay, what Ethiopian women are you talking about? Because they got different species and different tribes of Ethiopian. Oh, you talking about what you see around here, like at the farmer markets and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Those are Hindus. Those are not Africans.
So, okay, so they're
you talk about the Amhara tribe are not Africans, those are Hindus.
Okay, so.
Because you got Soris, you got the Arumu, and you got different tribes from out of the Ethiopia that is as dark as you and me, woolly hair. But they only show you the ones that come from a certain city, because that city is right across from Yemen. And when those Indo-Arabs came in and mixed with these Africans from the Umu Valley and mixed in with them, they gave birth to a lot of hybrids. You hear me? And these hybrids have larger craniums and lighter skin and straighter hair. This was all a part of when the Shabazar and all them came into certain parts of Africa and was mixing their genes in with these Africans to produce this so-called lost tribe of Shabazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be safe to mix with them, you know what I'm saying?
You can mix with a pure blood African if you want to correct your genes.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, because the master teacher said if you want to correct your genes, he said get your African woman. Those are not Africans, those are Hindus.
What would you say would be?
Like Lupita Nyong'o, Alice Weck. You heard of her?
No, I mean...
These are real dark-skinned, woolly-haired supermodels. If you look at those names, you see Lupita Nyong'o is the black actress from Kenya that won the Oscar for 12 Years a Slave.
Okay.
Alice Weck is that supermodel, you know, she's real dark, dinka,
tall
one, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got different African genes that's real pure-blooded, you know, that's real strong, that actually correct our genes. Cause you know what I'm saying? Because we've been here too long in America, our genes has got weakened. The only way we can correct the genes is to mix in with a pure African.
So, pure African, not...
stronger gene, as what I'm saying is a stronger African gene.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
But would would you say it would be better if I just went to Africa? You know what I'm saying? Instead of
if they let you mix in, if they let you mix in, and they make it too white. Speak like the white man.
Okay, so if I get looking,
yo, I can't tell you. There's no formula on that, man.
Okay.
You should gift the gab or something, man. I don't know. You talk their language and do something extraordinary. You come over there and try to mix they women. They probably beat you down and kill you. You gotta know how to get. You gotta know the codes.
That ain't gonna happen.
You heard me? Seriously, you go there. This light skin goddamn white dude trying to come over here and mix with my children. I mean, it's been done a lot of times. I've seen a lot of us mixing with, my sister's married to an African, so, and her kids look straight African now. I mean, she corrected her genes. She got an African husband, and my nephews, they don't even look like African-American with the African-American features from mixing it with Indians and Caucasians. You say they look like they out of Africa. And I'm like, I was just like, wow. You say, you can correct your gene like our master teacher has said. You just have to find the right African, if she wants to be with you. You might be lucky though, with Drake and all those guys, they make it a little easier for you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in a different category.
No, you're not listening. You're not listening. I'm saying Drake and them make it a little easier for you because a lot of these African women want to be with Drake. So, anybody feel me on that?
Yeah.
They might want a light skinned dude. Like, I want no dark skinned nigga. I want one of those light Drake niggas. You might get you one. And then you might have converted Wu-nuwaup, and she was like, damn, what I'm doing with you for? You hear me? Your genes is defective, but I got kids. It's already too late. You know how it is. You just work your magic, man. You just work your magic. Any other questions? Go ahead, Drew. I'm waiting for you. It's all good.
Is it possible? I don't think it's possible, but is it possible that you could be dating a woman and you think she's human, but she's not?
It could happen. That's why you need to stop watching all those damn movies. Because the master teacher said that these beings are so hideous when they incarnate, right? Or when they genetically crossbred different species they try to get the most normal looking ones, right? They at least look a little bit more human than the other ones that, you hear me? And they infiltrate our society, right? But we got so used to the monstrosity look. This is why Hollywood started. If you go back to like our master teacher, Pt.2 Babbitt said, right? If you go back to 1940s and 30s, right? Your white Caucasian males do not look like the ones you see now in Hollywood. Clark Gable, Cary Grant, Rock Hudson, Rudolph Valentino. I can keep going on and on. What's the Marilyn Monroe? Who's the other one? Audrey Hepburn. Scarlett, Jean Harlow. That's what I'm looking for. You hear me? These what you could saw your elite, super blonde, bombshell, beautiful white women, right? And then 2014, they give you Sandra Bullock and Jennifer Aniston. And, you hear me? Who else is there? So Glenn Close and Miley Cyrus. No, Miley Cyrus is a little bad for Caucasian compared to the rest of them cats. You know what I'm saying? And who's the other one that's a little hideous looking? Jennifer Garner and Jodie Foster. You hear me? I keep going on and on. And they just horrible looking, right? And then you look at actors like Bruce Willis and Daniel Craig and Matt Damon and all them. You know what I mean? These guys like Mongols and stuff. They're straight hideous, but they look off. Like what's that other guy? Benedict Cumberbatch, the guy that played in the damn Star Trek. So these guys look real messed up. We see it, but then you watch these movies week after week after week that you get accustomed to their look. So then when these beings decide to come out, the job's already done. We put them out in the market, we put the movies out, the TV shows, we got all these hideous Caucasians, now we can come in and blend in. And people said, that guy is ugly. Back then we said, look at this, what the hell is this, a mutant? You hear me? You better take it to the base. You hear me? But now it's like, they just blend in, people don't even look at them a second look and say, oh, this guy look hideous because you're so accustomed to looking at them on TV, and these guys just blend in society. And what happened is, the black men started getting attracted to these trailer trash looking white women. You hear me? You don't get the best of the best, but now you get it now because their genes is going. They get all they good looking white women now. You hear me? Back then you couldn't even get a good looking white woman back then. You got some old fat, sloppy, trailer trash white woman. You hear me? And now you got these black women trying to emulate these white women, and you don't know what you're dealing with. Because you don't understand the genetics. This is why Pop put out this book called Genetic Kiss and Who is God, Male or Female, and where human beings came from. So you can understand the DNA in the book, Black Book, where it breaks down the different species of African, and you got to look at them, and then you start seeing what you're seeing. Because then when you start pinning down the species, then you start seeing what species they're coming from. This guy look like a Fugaran, and this guy look like a Diwani, and this guy look like a Hindu, and this guy like, you feel me? Black people don't all look African. Some black people look like they're from Australia. Some people might look like they're from China. Some people like they're from Africa. Some people they still have dark skin, but they have those Irish, Greek, Roman, Spaniards features. You feel me?
Right.
Do you have a question, my brother? Did I answer your question, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of dangerous, man.
It is dangerous.
It gets more and
That's
more
why you gotta
used
pick,
to it, and then you'll be like...
That's why the master teacher, that's why the master says, stop picking your woman for look. Pick her for the DNA, the genetics. You so caught up in looks, oh, she's pretty, but what makes her pretty? You can't define beauty unless you compare it to something else. If every woman looks the same, you wouldn't say she's pretty no more, would you? So you're comparing her to another female. To some Africans, oh, skinny chick is ugly. Like, oh, she looks like she's sick. They think fat girls is beautiful in certain parts of Africa. The more fat you are, the more beautiful, the more one they want you. So beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. Yeah, go ahead.
What would make good genetics? I guess what would be my question. And you said you gotta pick them out for the genetics.
You said genetics, yeah. You gotta ask, do they have any defects? You see, you got if that's a female, you have to ask their parents, do you have any type of like to find out good genetics, you gotta find out if their parents have any genetic defects. You get with a chick nice and beautiful, then your chick come out retarded or artistic and stuff, you like, damn, what would I go wrong? You was into the looks, nigga. That's your problem. You know what I mean? You can ask like the chick I got any from formalities in her DNA and genetic defects in her DNA. Do your parents got some like, you know, well, my mom, she has sickle cell, or she has with a cerebral palsy. It might not show up in the daughter, but it might show up in your grandchild, or your son. She might have hydrocephalus, with big cranium. Your grandma might have it, but then it might show up in your son. And you went like, "Dad, how my son get this big head?" I never see. Well, my great grandmother had it because you didn't do the research. Because all you care about was she looked good and what I felt in my heart. And then you sit here and now you got to put your kid inside some special home school. You hear me? And he had to ride a short bus every day, and he getting ridiculed because you didn't take the time out to do the genetics. Now, the sin of the father falls on the kid. We got to become geneticists again. And that's what our master teacher is trying to get us to. Any other questions? This is the last question I'm taking to, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Or is it true that some beings look human but they're like straight up reptilian? Like they just eat?
No, you have people that look reptilian and you don't know reptilian because you've been accustomed to Hollywood. You understand what I'm saying? You remove the scales and the fangs or the incisors and the slit on the eyes, right? You still looking at your genetic makeup of a reptilian, but you don't see it anymore. That's why the master teacher put in the books that he showed you with the wedge of fingers and the slope in the back of the head was your reptilian trait. But you don't see it anymore because all you see is the skin. We don't have the flesh. Some beings don't have scales anymore. And not all reptilians are bad. So get off that reptilian evil doctrine, though. We are Nagaro are descended from some reptilians. But these are the benevolent reptilians that was actually trying to save the planet and help the people. Some of them mix like the Anunnaki and them guys doing some other stuff. Some reptilians are vegetarian. They don't eat flesh like that. Did you know that?
Well, I know that I got some webs too.
Everybody in this room got a form of reptilian in them because this is a reptilian planet. You gotta remember that. When the beings came here to terraform, they terraformed on a reptilian planet. You understand that?
Right.
They just needed to go, so they started. They had to create another life form, or whatever you call it in a book called is that called the Planet Earth's Matrix? The birth of Earth in the Matrix. We break down chromium, CR24 chromium, and it's that C6 carbon. They had to, in order for them to terraform and create the being here, they had to put carbon in it because carbon is less corrosive. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They want to corrode this, but they were protecting on this planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? The chromium was placed in this also. And they placed it, the Wu-nuwaupu, which is the HAR1 gene, on the 23rd chromosome in order for you to have a characteristic other than the thought. You know what I mean? Right. So when they genetically engineered the body for themselves to survive on this planet. But this planet was a reptilian planet because it was called Tiamat. This planet was actually covered in water. You know what I'm saying? So every being was aquatic. There was no land, so there was no land beings. Right. But the beings that came here were land beings. They were not aquatic beings. So they had to take a species from off this planet, that was on this planet, or even off the planet, and cross genetic breed with it so it can become aquatic, so it can be in the waters. This is why they said that we evolved out of waters onto land. Because these beings was placed a certain chromosome in it, so when they started evolving, they would have to evolve into a life, air-breathing mammal and come out of the waters and come on the land. This is what they talked about in ancient Egypt, what they did with the Argonautes. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So kind of like in the reverse, like I was looking up and it was talking about like the aquatic theory or something, but that's like kind of almost like in reverse, because like the one lady, she was saying how like we started out on land and then went to the water.
No, was she white or black?
She was a white lady.
No, she didn't start out in the water. They came from the monkey gene.
Right.
Well, they never came out of the water.
That's what she was saying.
They came from primates. We didn't come from the primates. We came from out of the waters. When they took our DNA, some of the beings that came here kidnapped us and crossbred us with the monkey gene to create the Adamite race, which is the Caucasian race. And by us mixing in over the years with them is how we got fingerprints also. Because a lot of these primates have fingerprints, do you know that? Yeah, monkeys have fingerprints. Yeah. She could say reverse whatever, but we know what science is because this is what our master teachers had broken down years ago. And with that, I'd like to end class today, and I hope I see y'all next week. Bring more people. Towel hat.